what I find is a very miraculous thing is that I don't need hallucinogenics or drugs to communicate with God. I don't need prayer to communicate with God. I don't even need meditation anymore to communicate with God. But I've used all three throughout time. And now that I think about it, when I was younger, like 16, 17 years old, we used to stand back by the pond and I used to have these crazy talks about how I put the world together as God. And if anyone would remember back then, they were tripping, so they wouldn't remember it. And it'd all make complete sense to them because basically I was saying what we were all thinking at the same time. That's what made tripping seem so crazy, is we were all thinking collectively, but just closer in a unit amongst each other. So when you're tripping by yourself, you're thinking collectively by yourself with your thoughts. When you're tripping with someone else, you're thinking collectively by yourself and you're keeping each other composed. When you can trip by yourself with other people, it's because you've learned that you can control yourself. That's it. When you can trip collectively with other people, it's because two people can control themselves. When a group of people does, then all those people can control themselves. When one person freaks out, it's because they can't control themselves around other people when they don't feel comfortable with themselves. Does that make sense? Of course it does. But that's why people freak out so much on hallucinogens, because it brings them back to who we really are somewhat. But their dogma still makes them think otherwise. So hallucinogens don't do it either. Prayer can get you there, and you'll come back out of the dogma, but then you'll have your religious dogma on it, and that doesn't work either. So then mantras and meditation and belief, those don't do it quite what belief does, actually. Belief is the only thing that is. But like, when I say belief, I mean like the belief systems of those spiritual practices. They were very close, but there's that one level up, that existence level, not the awareness. The existence, because the spirit would be the awareness. It would be like the holographic version of life. The existence is that invisible that you don't see, that becomes all those other things. That is God. And that is actually right here, everywhere, listening to every word you say, hearing every thought you think, because they are vibrational transmissions inside your head, which God has the ability to do every and anything. Every meter that is ticking a second, every subway sign that is lit up, every car that has a turn signal or a popped tire, God is that too. But that's his ability, through our consciousness, through our contingencies, and through our things like that. Like the rubber on the tire is because it's rubber on the tire, because someone intended for it to be. That rubber on the tire either gets neglected or it runs over roads that get neglected, and eventually the rubber on the tire gets beat up. If the roads were taken care of properly and the tires were properly looked after and maintained, they would never get old. Think about it. Everything works like that, just like the human body. The human body can be maintained and kept track of. I used the tire as an example because that was really easy to use as an example. But the human body is very intricate and difficult, but I can teach you how. And Dan will, but when he's ready to. Because he, as a person, doesn't know that much about the human body, so he can't just make up words he doesn't know. So he has to study it, and I'll help him. So, until then, peace out from God.